Hi, I'm Andrew Boyarji, and today I'm going to share with you the secret to unleashing the potential of every software team in your organization. I'm going to show you how platform engineering can help software teams smash through the complexity limit and help all teams in your organization match the performance of your highest performing teams. In this session, I'll share with you a story about a tiger team in an organization I previously worked for. We'll analyze what made that team successful and how through platform engineering we can scale that success to a whole organization. Let's start by setting the scene for the Tiger team story. Now, the company I was working at was a large company with a large technology workforce. There were over 5,000 technical staff. The company was very process heavy with an equally heavy focus on governance and compliance. Technology change was extremely slow. We had a minimum 2-week lead time for any production changes other than resolving an incident. Needless to say, it took quite a long time to get anything done. Now, being a large organization, organizational change was frequent and difficult to keep track of. Processes changed often, as did the people who ran those processes. All of this added quite a significant amount of cognitive load for software teams, which made it harder again to deliver high quality software at speed. Now, the company found itself in a situation where slow technology change was about to have a material impact on its competitive advantage. The company was developing a new market differentiating product. This new product was in the works for over 12 months, plodding along at the usual pace at which software was being delivered in the organization. The organization received some alarming news. It heard that a competitor was about to release an identical product and beat us to the market. It was panic stations. The race was now on to beat the competitor to market. The company wasn't about to be beaten to market by a competitor. The CEO personally stepped in to make sure the company was doing everything it could to get to market first. To do this, they assembled a Tiger team. A team of superstars from across the company were brought together to focus on delivering this product. Typically, the slowest and most complex part of delivery in the organization was engaging with other teams and getting through governance processes. The attention from the CEO ensured organizational complexity was abstracted for the Tiger team, and they were fast-tracked through these processes. The Tiger team were given everything they needed to be successful. Essentially, the team were able to focus on meeting their primary goal without having to navigate the complexities of a large organization. The result? The Tiger team strategy worked. The delivery of the product was significantly accelerated and was launched on the same day as a competitor. The launch was a huge success. The marketing team did a great job with press coverage and the launch was huge. Usually when you optimize for speed, quality suffers. Not in this case. The team managed to launch a quality product in record time. It's always good practice to share learnings from both failures and successes across an organization. Learnings were shared through articles, lunch and learns, senior leader comms, workshops. The company did everything they could to try and reproduce this success across other teams. Once this was all done, the superstars from the Tiger team went back to their regular teams. Now, despite sharing all the learnings, nothing actually changed across the company in terms of delivery speed. Those same superstars went back to their regular teams and had the same struggles that all other teams across the organization were having. It was as if the Tiger team never existed. This got me thinking, why do Tiger teams only exist in captivity? The organization is obviously capable to deliver awesome outcomes when the motivation exists, but rarely realizes this potential. It's not practical for a CEO of a large company to step in every time something needs to be delivered quickly. The Tiger team strategy is very disruptive and comes at the cost of other work the company already had prioritized. So how do we create the same conditions, but for every team? How do we make every team a Tiger team? This team was successful where others weren't because the CEO personally intervened to help the team navigate organizational complexity to achieve the goal. Why did the CEO need to intervene? The high amount of organizational complexity that exists in the company is what prevents all teams from achieving the same outcome as the Tiger team. Think of organizational complexity as the aggregate of information, dependencies, changes, other teams, and requests that software teams need to navigate when interfacing with the rest of an organization. When the superstars from the Tiger team went back to their regular teams, they weren't able to perform at the same level. This is because they once again had to deal with the realities of organizational complexity. There are levels of organizational complexity in every organization. The reality is, every software team has a complexity limit. The complexity limit is the amount of complexity a team is able to navigate before it impacts job satisfaction and the speed and quality at which software is produced. In my story, the Tiger team was successful as the CEO abstracted organizational complexity for them, bringing them back within their complexity limit. The team going back to their regular teams and having the same old performance shows us that regardless of having superstars in a team, once a team's complexity limit is reached, that team's effectiveness begins to decline. So what's that look like? We see deployment frequency drop and lead time for changes start to increase. Due to the complexity in dependencies in a large organization, we start to see more incidents that take longer and longer to recover from. All of this leads to a drop in developer satisfaction, which further perpetuates a drop in team effectiveness. So what can we do about this? To help make the Tiger team successful, the CEO temporarily reduced the amount of complexity that the team had to navigate. This isn't realistic at scale or as a permanent solution. In reality, a large company will always have the complexity of processes, dependencies, and a large workforce. If it's not realistic to reduce complexity, what if we lift the complexity limit for all software teams in an organization? By increasing the amount of complexity each team can handle, we can get Tiger team results without reducing complexity. This is where platform teams come into play. Every platform team should be aiming to turn every software team in their organization into a Tiger team. Platform teams have the opportunity to abstract organizational complexity from the day-to-day work of software teams, reducing their cognitive load and effectively increasing the amount of complexity each team can handle before it starts to impact team effectiveness. I have seen a lot of platform teams who focus heavily on tooling, and sure, this can be one source of organizational complexity. More mature platform teams who think broadly about increasing the complexity limit for software teams are more likely to make a positive impact on the teams they support than those that just focus on tooling. Platform teams can achieve Tiger team status across the organization in the same way as the CEO did for a single team. They give software teams what they need for success. They find ways to fast-track governance and compliance at scale through self-serve information. They enable software teams to focus on meeting their primary goal, which is to deliver high-quality software at speed. An internal platform is the interface between platform teams and the engineering organizations they serve. I'll use Compass, a delivery experience platform by Atlassian, to share some examples of how a platform can be used to increase the complexity limit for software teams. One of the main sources of complexity in a large organization is the large workforce. In a smaller organization, chances are most of the engineers know each other and they know who's working on what. In a large organization, it can take quite a lot of time to find out what a software component does, who owns it, and how you can leverage that component. Having a component catalog as a part of your developer experience platform means you can abstract this complexity away for software teams. How does a component catalog help teams? Well, by searching for a software component, teams can see a description on what each software component is. They can see which team owns it, and they can easily see how to get into contact with that team. Software teams can self-serve all the information they need, like documentation, the code repository, and where the team tracks its work. This means that teams spend less time looking for who to engage to find the documentation they need, and more time focusing on achieving their goals. Of course, if teams do need to collaborate, they can do so with an established context, increasing the value of these interactions. By having a searchable catalog with rich data on demand, the size of the workforce and the amount of software components is no longer a source of complexity for software teams, effectively increasing their complexity limit. Large companies usually have heavy governance processes and compliance requirements. This drives significant complexity for software teams. They need to work out what they need to do, complete their delivery cycle, then have their work assessed to see if they have met expectations. If they haven't met expectations, they then go back and rework their release. The CEO in my example fast-tracked the target team through governance processes to get a fast outcome. The same outcome can be achieved at scale using dynamic scorecards. Using scorecards, teams know upfront what they need to do, and they can track how they're performing during their delivery cycle. Governance teams are able to see in real time which teams are meeting their requirements and which teams need some support. This removes the need for governance meetings for things like change management, which enables all teams to move faster, safely. Scorecards make it easier for teams to understand what they need to do. They can see how they're tracking, and it also removes the need for heavy governance processes. This is a great way to reduce organizational complexity. Dependencies are another major source of complexity that can be addressed with a good developer experience platform. Understanding the dependency model in any modern system is far beyond the cognitive capability of any mere mortal. Mapping software component dependencies within a developer experience platform significantly increases the complexity limit for software teams. They no longer need to mentally keep track of up and down dependencies, who looks after them, how to contact each team. The information is available on demand when and if they need it. This can be particularly helpful during an incident. Being able to quickly view events for up and downstream systems abstracts complexity for software teams. This also reduces mean time to recover, a key indicator of team effectiveness. There are a wide variety of ways a platform team can extend a developer experience platform to increase the complexity limit for software teams. The key to success is to focus on lifting the complexity limit, then implementing this through tooling like a developer experience platform, rather than focusing on tools first. Here are some key takeaways I'd like to leave you with. Target teams are a great strategy to achieve a highly desired outcome in a really short period of time. Unfortunately, the target team strategy doesn't scale across an organization and doesn't lead to long-term success. As long as teams within an organization are beyond their complexity limit, they will struggle to deliver high-quality software at speed. The key to unleashing the target team within every software team is to increase their complexity limit. Platform teams who focus on increasing the complexity limit for software teams within their organization, leveraging a developer experience platform, are more likely to drive a meaningful change than those who focus on tooling alone. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to continue the conversation, please reach out to me on LinkedIn or on Twitter.